Welcome this Holy Week to Wild Church. Today we are focusing on the light of God and hope in the darkness. We will be looking at the beauty and importance of both darkness and light. We will be reflecting this Holy Week on Jesus, light of the world, going into the dark tomb, but then on Easter Day, Jesus breaking out of the tomb. We will be planting seeds and lighting a fire as our reflection activities this week. Please do join with me the parts in bold, and we say together our opening prayer. God of wonder, go with us into this new day. Speak to us, refresh us, astound us, that we may grow to love you and your world more deeply. Amen. One of our other activities that we can do to help us understand about light and the darkness, we can grow a plant to help us understand. So here's my seeds. I wonder if anyone can tell me what seeds these are. And what you need to do is you need to find yourself some compost. So hopefully you've got some at home. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill your pot with some compost. Okay, so I've got some compost there and I've got some spare, which I'll show you what to do with in a minute. So you've got your compost here, and then what you need to do is you need to pop your seeds into the compost. And you need to just push it down just slightly into the compost. And you need to, these seeds, imagine they need to be social distancing as well, but instead of 2 meters, you want them to be 2 centimeters apart. So they've got enough space, because what's going to happen is you're going to water them and you're going to put them in a sunny spot, and then we're going to watch them grow. And when they're about 5 centimeters tall, we then take them out and we pop them in their own pots. And the idea is we're going to try and grow the tallest sunflower. So the rest of the compost then goes on top. Doesn't matter if you make a bit of a mess. And then we push that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that into the kitchen and add some water and leave it on my windowsill. And then leave it in a sunny spot even, and then it will grow. And we have 2 readings for the reflection today. One is taken from Genesis and one is from the Psalms. Our first reading, Genesis chapter 1, 5 and verses 14 to 19. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth." And it was so. God made the 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the 4th day. We're going to read the psalm together. And the psalm is Psalm 104, verses 1 to 4, and verses 19 to 23. If I read the odd verses, if you would like to join me in the even verses. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, you are very great. You are clothed with honour and majesty. Wrapped in light as with a garment, you stretch out the heavens like a tent. You set the beams of your chambers on the waters. You make the clouds your chariot. You ride on the wings of the wind. You make the winds your messengers, fire and flame your ministers. You have made the moon to mark the seasons. The sun knows its time for setting. You make the darkness, and it is night. When all the animals of the forest come creeping out, the young lions roar for their prey, seeking their food from God. When the sun rises, they withdraw and lie down in their dens. People go out to their work and to their labour until the evening. A reflection. I share this reflection from Richard Clarkson, which was originally written for Creation Tide. The early Celtic Christians knew the significance of that first command, let there be light. J. Philip Newell, in his introduction to Celtic spirituality, explains that for the Celts there was a distinct difference between the light of the first day of creation and the light of the fourth day of creation. The light of the fourth day, the sun, moon and stars, is a visible light. The light of the first day, however, is the light of being, from which inaccessible light of God, all life, comes forth. Without this light, nothing could exist. This echoes the opening of John's Gospel. In him was life, and the life was the light of all people. Thinking about light in this way can help us to think about God. If you shine a torch across a dark room, or perhaps, say, a dark garden, you cannot see the beam unless it has something to reflect off. A speck of dust or a far wall. The light reveals and illuminates all that it sees. Yet it is still somehow mysterious. For the Celts, light was not a symbol of release from what would otherwise be dark. Rather, as Newell puts it, redemption is about light being liberated from the heart of creation and from the essence of who we are. With those first words of creation, God filled the whole creation with the light of life, and that same light illuminates all life to this day. On the fourth day of creation, darkness as well as light is declared good. Light pollution, however, means that more than 1/3 of the human population is no longer able to see the Milky Way. But it isn't just about what people cannot see. Frogs and toads are affected by the artificial light, as are migratory birds flying at night. Natural darkness enables humans to appreciate the wonders of the night sky, and many other creatures to flourish. The darkness is good. Psalm 104, verse 20. You make darkness, and it is night, when all the animals of the forest come creeping out. I used to be a forest ranger, and I used to take people out on dusk and night walks. The forest was amazing at this time of night. We would use bat detectors to hear bats and night vision scopes to see animals in the dark. For some people it was scary to be in the forest at night, but for me, I found it a magical experience. It's much noisier than you would expect, as most of the UK wildlife is nocturnal. even if you find the physical darkness scary, or use the darkness as a metaphor for the difficult times in life, know that God promises to be with us in it all. The light of God illuminates all of life. We are in the season of spring. The clocks have gone forward and the evenings are getting lighter. It is 8:22 and I am sat in my garden and I have been watching the sun set, the day turn into darkness, and the moon get ever brighter. I'm now sat here on a very mild night waiting for the stars to appear. But this season has come after the cold and darkness of winter. Take the seeds we planted earlier. They looked a bit dull and unpromising, didn't they? We put them into the earth, and now we wait. Eventually we will begin to see some shoots, and eventually it will grow into something bright and beautiful. We had to push the seeds into the soil and cover them over so they were in complete darkness. Planting these seeds reminds me of the Easter story, which is also a story about things that were dark and difficult coming to new life. On Good Friday, we see that Jesus is buried in the tomb, a bit like us today, burying our seeds. But on Easter Sunday, God shows us once and forever that his love is stronger than anything, even death itself. The woman comes to the tomb. She finds it burst open, and Jesus risen from the dead. Jesus burst from the darkness of the tomb into new life in the resurrection. There is hope as we focus on the light of God, which illuminates all of life. As we finish today's reflection, try to notice the light around you as you go about your days this week. Let it draw you into the presence of the God of light. Amen. Alright, so we are going to be doing fire lighting as part of our activity today. So as you can see, I've got my fire tray and we're going to be using cotton wool because it's nice, easy and flammable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get my cotton wool and spread it apart, make it nice and fluffy. This kind of emulates using reed heads is a really good fire lighter, and seed heads if you can collect them. They're a really good natural fire lighter. So once we've lit this, I've got some small bits of kindling and we'll get our fire going, and we're going to use a Swedish fire steel. You see the sparks? So it's an alloy, it's a mixture of metals, but the main one being magnesium. That's where you get that bright white light from. So we're going to place the steel into the cotton wool and strike down, and you can see it's lit quite quickly. And then we're just going to get some tiny bits of kindling. So by kindling we mean little bits of stick, and we're just going to add it to our fire really, and it should take light, and then it should build our fire. And it's a classic, if you make a pyramid, I mean this isn't going to be very good because I've not been very organised and built it beforehand, but you can build a pyramid, and people build pyramids because it makes a point and it draws the fire up. Because you need 3 things for a fire. Does anyone know what things you need? It's called the fire triangle. A lot of people learn it in science. So you need heat, which is your heat source, which is this. You need fuel, and you need oxygen. So I can try and just by blowing you can see the fire getting slightly bigger. Did you see that? And if you've got a nice wind, which we have today, a nice breeze, that gently feeds it anyway. And you can hear the crackling. So this is quite a big stick. I don't know if I can make that any smaller really. So that's gonna take a while for that one to catch light. But then the good thing about when you have a fire is you can have marshmallows. We're gonna see if I can toast a quick marshmallow. absolutely yum. And you can see the wind really having an impact on the flames. So remember, you need 3 things for a fire. You need your heat source, so matches or a fire steel or a lighter. You need your fuel, which is in this case our wood. And then you need oxygen, which is the air around us. But like I say, if you want to blow on it, you can make the flames a little bit bigger. And obviously I would keep adding fuel, I'd keep adding my wood, and I'd just keep adding and adding and adding, and then it would get really big. But obviously I don't want to make the fire too big, so I'm going to put it out in a bit. And cook this lovely marshmallow. Oh, there we go, that's brilliant. Look at that, look at those flames. Fantastic. I'll just pull my knee back slightly. Love that sound. So this is a really great activity to do. You're going to need an adult to help you because obviously fire is dangerous. And it's always good to have some water nearby just in case. But as we've been looking at light in the darkness, this is a good activity just to remind ourselves that God is with us in the darkness. And obviously I'm doing this in the daylight, but you could have this at night time and then it would help you see in the dark as well, wouldn't it? So I think my marshmallow is nearly toasted. And if you've got marshmallows and chocolate biscuits, like chocolate digestive or something like that, you can cook your marshmallow and then you can pop it in between 2 chocolate digestives, and that makes a s'more, and it's incredibly yummy. Not a very good idea to have it just before bed because it's high in sugar, but a great idea. And if you're struggling with maybe missing out on your holidays, like if you're meant to be going camping, this is a lovely activity to do in your back garden. And maybe you can pretend you're on holiday just by being in your back garden and camping out and toasting marshmallows and making s'mores. A really fun activity to do. And I think my marshmallow's done.
We now come to a time of prayer. In the world around us this day, we pray your kingdom come. In the world before us this day, we pray your kingdom come. In the world beside us this day, we pray your kingdom come. In the world within us this day, we pray your kingdom come. And I invite you to spend a few moments to pray for yourself, that you will know the light of God in your life. And I'd like to share with you this quote. Sometimes the strength within you is not a big fiery flame for all to see. It is just a tiny spark that whispers softly, "You've got this, keep going." And we pray for others, those that are struggling or who are unwell at this time. When life is difficult, we often need someone to encourage and help us, to light up our darkness. Who do you know that needs encouragement at this time? Who needs light in their darkness? Perhaps take a candle, light it, and say a prayer for that person. Perhaps you could be the light by sending them a message. And our closing prayer. The Celtic Christians used the cairn prayer, a prayer of encircling protection. Here is one to end our gathering. Circle me, Lord, keep protection near and danger afar. Circle me, Lord. Keep light near, darkness afar. Circle me, Lord. Keep peace within, keep evil out. Circle me, Lord. Keep hope within, keep doubt without. May you be a bright flame before me. May you be a guiding star above me. May you be a smooth path below me, and a loving guide behind me, today, tonight, and forever. Amen.